I had a friend who ate mostly vegetarian, but there was one day he ate 3 steaks in one meal because my friends were going to throw them away since they were so tough. And he did this because, in his words, something died for those steaks. That moment really stuck with me, but I didn't realize at the time that this could be an entire lifestyle. About a year later, a friend introduced me to Wastetarianism, which was a term she coined for this exact concept. I'll link her Instagram below, please go check it out. The premise is simple. You follow a plant-based diet and less food is about to be wasted. The term has yet to become common usage, but I'm hoping that the concept will spread. If you're new here, I'm Lily and I talk about sustainable fashion and living on this channel. I also have a blog about running, travel, and sustainability. In this video, I want to talk about Wastetarianism and what it looks like and why we should care. And I'll also be sharing one of my favorite Wastetarian recipes at the end, so stick around for that. So what is Wastetarianism? Wastetarianism is basically a subset of Flexitarianism. So we gotta explain that first. Basically, flexitarians follow a plant-based diet but do occasionally consume animal products. The goal is usually to live an environmentally conscious lifestyle without imposing any strict labels or rules. The philosophy behind Wastetarianism focuses more on minimizing food waste. Flexitarians might eat meat just because they feel like it, but Wastetarians generally only eat animal products if they would have otherwise been thrown out. That's not to say that Wastetarians will only consume discarded food. That would be more veganism. Wastetarians follow a normal plant-based diet, which can involve cooking meals and going out to eat. The waste part just comes in when they encounter food that's going to be wasted or is already in the trash. So why should we care about Wastetarianism? Around 1/3 of the world's food is wasted, and a significant portion of that food waste occurs at the consumer level. In North America, consumers are the cause for 40% of food waste, while the other 31% happens at the commercial or industrial level, and the last 29% at pre-production. Since nearly half of food waste is negligence on our part, we can actually do something about it rather than pin total responsibility on corporations, grocery stores, and other entities. The plant-based component of Wastetarianism also has a positive environmental impact. The Guardian reports that limiting animal products is the most significant way we can reduce our footprint. If everyone were vegan, we could reduce farmland by 75%. This would not only lead to a decrease in land use, but also water consumption and greenhouse gases. Certain threatened species might also be able to reclaim their homes. I recognize that there are accessibility challenges to going vegan though, so I'm not going to tell you that we need to totally eliminate meat and dairy consumption as a society. I myself am not vegan, so that would be hypocritical. If you are curious though, I do eat mostly plant-based and consider myself a Wastetarian, but my diet doesn't strictly fall under any of the more conventional labels. That being said, it's clear that reducing consumption of conventional meat and dairy helps counter inefficient and cruel food production and limits our environmental impact. The plant-based diet of a Wastetarian does just this, and their efforts to reduce food waste also ensure that no step of the complex food production process was wasted, whether that's raising livestock, plowing fields, transporting goods, and other steps. So what does being a Wastetarian look like? Here are some examples of what the lifestyle could look like. Number 1, taking home your own leftovers when eating out, and maybe even the leftovers of those you're eating with. Don't be shy in asking because most people don't care. I've even taken home leftovers from work lunches, and bonus points if you bring your own container to prevent plastic and paper waste. Number 2, ordering less at a restaurant, especially if you know that the people you came with won't finish their food, which you can then claim for yourself. If you're especially brave, my friend will even take unfinished plates of food from strangers after they pay and leave. I did this once, but I'm not as bold as her. You also have to determine your own risk tolerance for getting sick, especially in this day and age. Number 3, eating parts of produce that normally get thrown out. For example, broccoli stems are actually quite tender when cooked. You can also bake cauliflower leaves, and the deep green section of leeks are great for soups. This is not an exhaustive list by any means, these are just some ideas. Number 4, dumpster diving at grocery stores. Again, you need to know your risk tolerance. Most food is good well after expiration dates though, and if you disinfect the packaging, it's usually less risky than you think. I've had cinnamon rolls, vegan cheese, almond milk, eggs, pancake mix, and tons of other food from the trash. I'm still alive and healthy, but you should always be cautious. I sometimes post dumpster diving hauls on my TikTok and Instagram, so come hang out over there if you're curious. Number 5, rinsing out your smoothie blender with water and drinking the water and smoothie residue mix. Number 6, asking what happens to leftover food at events and salvaging it if it would otherwise get tossed out. This is a great way to get lots of free food. Number 7, reusing oil used for frying food to cook new dishes. And number 8, sometimes having food that isn't super fresh or particularly tasty, like tough steaks, but having the satisfaction that nothing got wasted. So there are many reasons to love Wastetarianism, and here are mine. For one, I like how Wastetarianism is more flexible. It will hopefully appeal to people who want to be more eco-friendly, but say that they couldn't go vegan because they love meat or dairy too much. Since we're constantly surrounded by animal products, you're sure to encounter good meat or dairy that someone wants to throw away, which you can then snack for yourself. I also appreciate how Wastetarianism isn't pretentious. It's actually humbling to eat what someone else wanted to throw away or to eat food from the dumpster. Mainstream veganism can be elitist and non-inclusive, especially when it doesn't acknowledge the challenges of low-income and BIPOC communities. Wastetarianism tends to be a little bit more accessible, and many lower-income and BIPOC communities naturally try to reduce food waste, sometimes out of necessity anyways. Wastetarianism also seems more environmentally conscious than veganism or vegetarianism and is more concerned about the value of food. By refusing to let that leftover chicken or those broccoli stems go to waste, you're recognizing the effort put into producing that food. Like my friend said, something died for those steaks. Likewise, something died for that chicken. Someone cultivated that broccoli, water, sunshine, and soil nourished that produce. Someone transported those products. Someone prepared that dish. Of course, there are many valid reasons a vegan or a vegetarian might not want to eat animal products that are going to be wasted. I'm not trying to say that everyone needs to be Wastetarian. If you haven't had animal products in years, you could actually make yourself sick by eating meat or dairy. I also know my own limits and wouldn't have wasted milk or yogurt even if it's perfectly fine, as I don't digest that very well. The goal isn't to make yourself miserable. No one is going to save everything, and it's not your job to clean up other people's messes. Wastetarianism is just a lifestyle option for people wanting a more flexible and sustainable diet. And finally, you don't have to become a strict Wastetarian. You can adapt the lifestyle to your needs and situation. Simply reducing animal products in your regular diet and adopting a friend's tough steak every now and then is progress. It pays to be just more purposeful about our food consumption. Maybe people will even find your Wastetarian gestures amusing and think a little harder about the value of food. At this point, I want to share a little recipe that uses broccoli stems. You don't have to strictly use the stems. I usually mix the stems with the crowns, but I'm currently at home and my parents always cut off the stems. So that's why the recipe will only have stems. I made this for TikTok back when my account wasn't focused on sustainable fashion specifically, so excuse the formatting, it will be just a vertical video. Don't throw your broccoli stems away. Here's a super easy recipe. Chop your broccoli into small pieces. Get some garlic and dice it. I used about 5 cloves for 3 stems. Add some olive oil to a pan and let it heat up on medium. Add your garlic and let it sizzle until fragrant. Add some water. Start small because you can always add more later. Add your broccoli to the pan. Then cover it up to let it steam. Stir the broccoli every now and then and add more water as needed. Add salt to taste and keep letting it steam for about 15 to 20 minutes. After a while, your broccoli will become tender and translucent. I like to take the lid off at this point to let the broccoli brown for a few minutes. Once the broccoli is done, you can put it in a bowl and enjoy. Follow for more zero waste recipes and sustainability content. I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you all for watching. And if you want the text version of this video, it'll be over on my blog. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.